Hi, my name is Matt, and I'm a data privacy and security analyst from CyberData Pros, and I'm here to talk about CMMC today. CMMC is the Cybersecurity Maturity Model certification that's being rolled out by DoD for all DoD contractors and subcontractors that are involved in the creation or possession of both FCI, federal contract information, and CUI, controlled unclassified information. CMMC is for any current or potential contractors for the DoD who are submitting proposals to renew contracts or win new contracts once CMMC 2.0 rolls out later this year, once final rulemaking comes into play. It's going to be for any contractor or their subcontractors that handle controlled unclassified information, which is going to be any kind of information created by the government or for the government that isn't for public release and is subject to certain regulatory, statutory, or just agency-wide policy controls that prevent it from being disseminated. We don't have a definitive time frame yet. It's statutorily required to be rolled out before 2025. We're in the final phases of rulemaking here. We previously were hoping that it would probably start showing up in RFIs in May or so, but the rulemaking's been delayed a little bit, so could be October, could be early 2024. If you are hoping to submit bids next year or even later this year, Q2, Q3, Q4, you should definitely be looking to make sure you're going to be in compliance with CMMC, depending on which level you fall under. As we prepare for CMMC to roll out, start appearing in RFIs, now is the time that everyone should be looking ahead to make sure that they're going to be ready for when CMMC does finally fully roll out. It's definitely going to be a tough and time-consuming process, especially if you haven't previously been in compliance with NIST 800-171. The first step for attaining CMMC compliance is going to be first understanding what level certification you need or will likely need. If you're already working on contracts that are subject to DFARS 252.204-7012, 7019, 7020, you're likely going to be subject to CMMC level 2 if you intend to continue on those contracts and similar contracts. That means you're going to need to have identified, which you already should have identified, CUI and where it lives within your systems, who has access to it, and how it flows through your organization. If you are not subject to those clauses, you may not have already identified the FCI that you might have if you're new to government contracting, or if you're going to be changing the targets of your government contracts. This may be all new to you, but you need to figure out where the FCI or CUI is going to be stored, who's going to have access to it, where it's going to flow. And once you figure out where that is, if it can be enclaved into a smaller subset of systems, that would be recommended as it reduces the scope of the controls you have to roll out. So the first thing you should do would be identifying CUI, where it lives, same with FCI, defining bounds if you can, and creating an enclave. Secondly, once you have that scope identified, you need to go ahead and build out your system security plan, your SSP, which is going to go through the list of practices required under each level of CMMC, and you're going to describe how you're going to meet those practices, what controls you're going to implement to make sure you're implementing those practices appropriately. Once you've done that, you'll go through and actually go through the implementation phase, which is likely to be the most tedious, time-consuming, and expensive part of it. It is the most important, making sure that you're actually doing what you say you're going to do and making sure that you are doing what DoD is asking of you. Once you've completed that, you will review, make sure you've implemented everything you said you're going to implement in the SSP, and make sure that your SSP and your controls match. And if there are any deficiencies or anything is not yet implemented, you need to go ahead and create a plan of action and milestones, which is referred to as a POAM. And you need to establish when you're going to have those controls in place and when you're going to have the entirety of your SSP fully implemented, and have those timelines set so you can submit those to DoD as well. You can and should reach out to registered practitioners or RPOs such as CyberData Pros to help you along with this process. They can definitely walk you through how to build an SSP and what controls will satisfy each of those practices that are labeled in that SSP. They can then help you audit your SSP and establish what POAMs need to be filled out, need to be done, and what controls are going to have to be implemented or deficiencies fixed, so that way you're in compliance with CMMC and you're ready when CMMC finally rolls out. So if that's you and you need help implementing CMMC, feel free to reach out to us at CyberData Pros or emailing us at info@cyberdatapros.com or visit our website for more information.